Made it to the end of the road. Deadhorse, Alaska. Here I am at the Prudhoe Bay Hotel, enjoying this luxurious room after what has been 9 long days of traveling. 9 days, starting in San Jose, California, crossing through Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Yukon, Alaska, all the way to the very, very, very end of the road. The end of the road. There is no going farther north. This is the northernmost road, apparently, in the whole world. There's one road in Sweden that comes almost as close as this one, but not quite. This is it. The Dalton Highway ends at Prudhoe Bay, Deadhorse, Alaska. And here I am. So, to be able to sit in this recliner and say that makes me feel pretty good. I didn't look at the mileage counter. I'll check it later, but it's well over 3,000, 3,600, 3,700, something around there. So, anyway, today was well, it still hasn't been that long relative to other days. It was not as long because it's about 3:45, maybe 4 o'clock by now. I got here maybe an hour and a half ago. I left from the Marion Creek campground this morning pretty early, and after having breakfast in Coldfoot again, was on my way, and the road was pretty rough in places. I wouldn't say treacherous, but rough. There are roads back home that are just as bad in some places. It's just this goes on and on and on. There's a nice little stretch of clean pavement for, 10 miles, and then all of a sudden it's gravelly and rutted, and then there's a construction zone after construction zone. This is just a never-ending maintenance project going on this highway. But persisted and finally, over time, made it here. One thing that was very interesting was the temperature drop, because remember yesterday, above the Arctic Circle at 11 o'clock, I was still wearing a t-shirt practically. Maybe I put on my jacket by then, but it was pretty warm, and I slept out in the open. However, the trip through the Dalton Highway crossed through the Brooks Mountain Range, and that is when I felt the difference. Climbed up Adigan Pass, and it started to get cloudy and kind of menacing looking clouds, then came down onto the northern slope and got a few sprinkles of rain, very little, but a few sprinkles, but the temperature just dropped and dropped and dropped. And I read in the forecast a couple days ago the high was supposed to be 31. I'm sorry, the high was supposed to be 41 and the low of 39. So only a 2-degree difference the whole day. That's because the sun's up all day, but still pretty chilly. Anyway, I made my way here to the Prudhoe Bay hotel, and checked into this room, and here it is. I can say I'm pretty pleased with it. This town of Deadhorse is bizarre. I'll mention that later, but yeah. Anyway, on the way here, yet another animal sighting. And yes, again, I saw another moose. There was a mama moose and a baby moose. But something new, something I've never seen before. And this blew me away. It was the coolest one so far. It was a massive musk ox. Like, massive. I saw it from a couple miles away because the northern slope is just so wide and expansive, and there's no trees, and it was flat. And I just saw this brown thing in the middle of the green plain and was wondering, what is that? I get closer and closer and closer, and it just was obviously something that was not built, and it was not something growing. Closer and closer, I'm thinking, is that a bear? But then it was just bigger and bigger, and then, no way, that is way too big to be a bear. And what do you know? It's a muskox. Had those curly little horns in the front, and it was just kind of leaned over, eating some grass off the ground. Big giant thing, as big as a car. So anyway, that's my wildlife report. A couple of moose and a muskox. It's a new one. So I'm going to unwind a little bit. Maybe just lie on the bed and look at the ceiling for a while. It's kind of nice to be able to do that. And I have some time to do things here, although there's absolutely nothing to do in Deadhorse, but I'll mention that in a later report.